Who would have thought our journey would take me to this point where I'm sharing our story? The story of decline to victory is our little tale of success, and sharing it with you, with everything I learned along the way, I hope to help you to your own success story. Let me begin with a little intro before I show you the video. The cause of leaky gut in Amber's case was extreme, and the gut was very badly damaged. But when provided with exactly what is needed, cells do heal, and she fully recovered from the leaky gut. The fact that it was an extreme case is why I feel what I learned along the way can definitely help you too, regardless of the cause of yours or your child's leaky gut. So after years of seeking for answers, in 2018 we discovered Ams had severe leaky gut, although we were completely mystified as to why, as we led a pretty healthy lifestyle. However, on the 15th of June 2020, her and I had a terrible realization that she had been sleeping on an increasingly toxic mattress for about 7 years. Now, the good thing was that at last the cause was known, and after beginning to digest the immense shock of what my daughter had been suffering for so long, everything slowly began to make sense, from why she couldn't sleep, why she was aching all night, although she thought she had been imagining it and didn't tell me, to all sorts of other symptoms. Although the decline had very slowly begun when she was about 10 years old, I mostly only took photographs when she was at her best during those years. So this little slideshow will begin in January 2020, which was just under a year before her complete healing from leaky gut. We start with pics from a beautiful meditation retreat in January 2020, and then we go further on later in January 2020, after the very worst times of her experience, when I had begun to take pics of the wins along the way. And I so do happen, therefore, to have some visual records of her progress during the latter part of that year. At the time, for my own healing from the trauma, I had felt compelled to share some of these on my personal Facebook page. It was the first time I had been really open about what was going on. It was just too painful before the discovery of the cause, because everything had felt so hopeless for so long, and I had no one to guide me. Just me figuring out what worked, what didn't, what never to do, what I must do. But suddenly I had a lot more clarity. And so we removed the mattress, of course, immediately as soon as we realized it was a problem. And for 3 magical weeks, she was a different person. So much her vibrant self. And I so wanted to believe it would be okay now, but common sense told me otherwise. It just wasn't possible to suddenly be okay just because the cause of the damage had been removed. She had spent over 7 years on that terrible mattress after all. After those 3 weeks, she went into a severe emotional spiral as the organs began to detox. It was so intense that the entire body fell into a deep decline within a few weeks, and that was when I started to wake up and slowly begin to re-implement step by step everything I had learned over the years, and more as the months went by. The protocol I ultimately ended up with contained many aspects that had worked well even in the years before the mattress was removed, just not lastingly, of course, though I didn't realize at the time that the temporary nature of her improvement was due to the fact that the mattress was still there. Once it was removed and she had those 3 amazing weeks, I understood that I had been on the right track with the remedies and approaches I had been using, and re-implemented step by step everything that had previously helped her before. Because of the extent of the damage and the extreme situation, the ultimate complete protocol is very thorough, and I found it to be the amazing cure for severe leaky gut that I had been seeking all those years when I was blind to the cause of the problem. I hope the video that follows inspires you, and if you wish to have your own success story after watching it, you can purchase my 2-hour video course by emailing me. During the darkest times in August 2020, I was reminiscing on Facebook about better times in January, when she was suffering from deep fatigue, but we were on this wonderful meditation retreat, which was highly beneficial for her, although she was tired for some days afterwards. Although it is not a necessity, if you do have access to anything like this, I do recommend it in combination with the full protocol. First time outdoors in months. It was a huge step. Pale and weak, but up nevertheless. A very happy day, this one. Late September, early October 2020, visiting Gran in Benoni. Ams was so weak she had to lie down on the couch after a bit and stayed there until we left. It was really disconcerting to see her so weak, although it was lovely for us both to be out for a bit. If you look at her here, you can see energetically she's barely present, really. 12 October, she had finally been able to buy the skates she wanted from her birthday money already in August. She wanted to encourage herself to be a little active and get outdoors. She used the skates only 5 times before she gave up, as she was constantly just so exhausted. Her face before she smiled and laughed for the camera. She never liked to show others what she was really going through. A very emotional post for me on Facebook. It was so hard to see this naturally vibrant young woman with a brilliant mind and who is my world, living a non-life. Ams had ozone treatment from mid-October to mid-December 2020 while sitting on the only available seat in a friend's bathroom, and things are looking up. As you can see, she has put on weight and has much more of a life force. Yay! Although we did drive, as she couldn't walk there because she was still too weak. It's so wonderful to see how she had been gaining condition. Does my heart good even now to see that. Since the end of the heaviest rains from mid-February 2021, we walk that short distance and back home 4 times a week for a little 17-minute stroll before breakfast. The ozone therapy definitely helped. If you do have access, I highly recommend it. It's not included in my full protocol, as I focus on what we did every day for at least 4 months, not for a short period of time. And it must be used in combination with the full protocol. Otherwise, it's just not enough on its own. The full protocol, however, covers everything and nothing else is needed. Here we have cousins visiting in early December 2020. Inspired by her love for family and children, Ams did amazingly. No one was more surprised than I with how active she was that day. Tired afterwards, yes, but not for more than a couple of days. It's a very special feeling to look back now and see so very clearly that what I was doing to heal her gut was working beautifully. At the time, though, I had to constantly remind myself what she had been experiencing over the years and then earlier on in 2020 and looking really awful. I had to always be reminding myself because progress seemed to be so painstakingly slow those latter months of 2020, and it was not easy to see things in perspective. Also, we had had some great wins over the years prior to that, but they had been temporary, as she was sleeping on the cause of her issues every night until the middle of June last year, and I couldn't understand why she kept regressing at the time. So I was constantly a bag of nerves, silently watching her for setbacks. One can only imagine how hard her journey had been for her emotionally. One good thing is that we had done countless deep healing therapies over the years, as I'm a highly skilled trauma release facilitator. Early January 2021, and the pool adventures have spilled over as health has been steadily gaining. 7th of January 2021, a week before we leave for the Cape, things are really looking up when we can walk a few hundred meters, with me carrying everything, but walk nevertheless into the Walter Sisulu Botanical Gardens and find the best picnic spot and stay there for about 4 blissful hours. Happy days were certainly becoming more frequent, and food was becoming a greater and greater pleasure. These photos are 3 weeks in St. James from the 13th of January 2020 say it all. The full protocol was in place from our very first day there, as I had purchased a few additional remedies before we left, which made the final difference. Fortunately, I already knew best how to apply them. As you can see, we had a wonderful time, hiked, walked, ate, strolled everywhere a lot, window shopped, explored, and were out for much of the day, every single day. And these pics show a normal teenage life subsequent to our trip. She's studying 3 AS level subjects, the 4th to be added soon, and we stroll 17 minutes before breakfast 4 times a week. She's just busy living a full teenage life with best friends and lots of outings. If you wish to have your own success story, get my 2-hour video course containing all the secrets, tips, as well as the complete protocol that we use to heal Amber's gut, plus the inclusive 45 minutes of bonus support material and the 3 free live monthly group support calls. Email me at naturallyhealinternational@gmail.com.